Diode LEDs, LED Tuning Controls Training for the Attribute Color Controller. This video will provide a visual tutorial on how to install and operate the Attribute Color Controller. LED tuning adds style and dynamic effects traditional lighting can't accomplish. These eye-catching color-changing effects are not difficult to set up. Let Diode LED show you how. LED tuning systems follow the same principles as non-tunable LED systems. It starts with your LED lighting, either Dazzle 24 RGB or RGBW, an LED control system, of which Diode LED offers numerous selections. And lastly, your constant voltage power supply, the only appropriate power supply for LED tuning systems. Diode LED makes LEDs simple to understand, effortless to adapt, and easy to use. The LED tuning options follow just that by providing simple choices on how you would like to control your LED lighting. This is where we bring to you our new Attribute Color Controller, utilizing popular pre-generated settings, and our touch dial system, featuring modular selections in controls, either in the form of a remote control, your mobile device, or both. Let's go through the step-by-step process of setting up these exclusive controllers from Diode LED. Remember to read, review, and understand all instructions before getting started. We'll start with the Attribute Color Controller, which is packaged with both a single receiver and a remote control. With the Attribute Color Controller, you will need a Phillips head screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver to complete the assembly. Let's go through the motions. Step 1. Taking the Phillips head screwdriver, unscrew and open both lids of the Attribute Color Controller receiver. This will expose the contact terminals to insert your color-coded wires for the LED lights and your low-voltage power input. Step 2. You will need the flathead screwdriver to make your appropriate wiring connections for the LED lights and low-voltage power. Refer to the label found on the Attribute receiver for the correct connection locations. Step 3. Time to sync up the remote control. Be sure to have a fresh set of AAA batteries for the remote. You'll need a total of 3. Wake up the remote control by pressing the power button found on the top right-hand corner. A red indicator light will turn on. Step 4. Quickly locate the learning key found on the face of the receiver. Press and release the button and immediately swipe your finger on the color wheel of the remote control. The LED lights on the receiver will flash. Step 5. Continue to swipe your finger across the color wheel to make sure all colors are present. If a color is missing, please check your wiring connections for the LED lighting. Note that the W key will not function if you are using RGB-based products like Dazzle 24 RGB tape light. Now, let's see all these steps in action. We open up our box to make sure all components are included. This means remote, receiver, and a packet of instructions. Checking to make sure we have our LED lights, constant voltage power supply, in this case a plug-in adapter, and any other necessary accessories such as a female LED adapter splice cable. Reading, reviewing, and understanding all the instructions that came with the Attribute Color Controller before doing anything else. Using the Phillips head screwdriver, we open up both lids to the receiver. Using our number 2 flathead screwdriver, we install our LED tape light to one side and our low voltage power connection on the other. Keep in mind the LED light should be color-coded or have an appropriate indicator to match the correct terminals. Power up the receiver and insert 3 AAA batteries into the remote control. Press the power button to wake the remote control and look for the indicator light. Locate the learning key on the Attribute receiver and quickly press and release the button. Immediately start scrolling your finger around the color wheel on the remote control and the lights will begin to blink and flash. Be sure to scroll around the color wheel or use the RGB and, if applicable, W to make sure all the colors are present and accounted for. If one is missing or more than one is not showing up properly, go back to the receiver and check your wiring for your LED lights. To activate the pre-programmed dynamic modes, reference the dynamic mode chart found on page 2 of the attribute instructions. You'll find the 10 active modes plus an additional mode to shut off all lights. To use the dynamic mode, locate the dynamic mode button on the remote control found on the bottom right corner. Press and release the button. The last dynamic mode that was being used will activate. To change to a new pattern, press and release the button again and a new pattern will begin. Use the dynamic mode chart to identify which pattern you're currently viewing. To change the speed of the pattern, press and hold the dynamic button until the desired speed is reached. If you've gone too far, release the button and perform the press and hold process again. To change the brightness level of the LED lights, locate the RGB brightness button found on the bottom left of the remote. Similar to the dynamic mode button, press and hold to adjust the level of brightness of the lights. If you've gone too far, simply release the button and perform the press and hold process again. To save your favorite solid color settings, the Attribute Color Controller allows you to save up to 2. First, you must dial in your favorite color, either using the color wheel or using the R, G, B, and W keys to dial in the specific color. Be creative when choosing the correct settings. Once the ideal color combination is found, press and hold the S1 key. This will save the color setting to this key. To test, press a random color on the color wheel followed by the S1 key. The color should return to your favorite setting. If there is an additional color setting you'd like to save, use the S2 key to save your second favorite color. This is the fundamental setup for the Attribute Color Controller. Start playing with the buttons to discover the different functions of the remote. Try to dial your favorite custom color for the ideal setting. Thanks for watching this presentation. Please feel free to re-watch and review this video at your own leisure. If you require additional assistance or have questions, please feel free to reach out to Diode LED's customer service team, technical support team, and specification and project support.